Happy Friday, Pecan Lario here, and in this video I wanted to talk to you about a question that most property owners ask us at the beginning of managing their properties, and that is if we perform any inspections on the property. Well, the answer is yes and no, and in this video I'm going to cover that more in depth. So as property managers, we are licensed real estate agents. Unfortunately, we are not licensed property inspectors. So because of this, we do not perform inspections on the properties. What we do as property managers is we perform assessments. Now, that is a play on words, but there is different things that we are looking for than what a property inspector is looking for. A property inspector is doing a more in-depth look at the property. They're looking for structural and mechanical things that we as property managers are not really looking for when we do an assessment on the property. As property managers, we are looking for things that affect the health and safety of a tenant and anything that will make the property more marketable as a rental. Even though as a property manager we do look for items in the property that are working mechanically, for example the AC, garbage disposal, things of that nature, we do not do such an in-depth look at these items as a property inspector would. This also means that we may not catch everything in all of our assessments. We may perform a 6-month assessment on a property, and then our general contractor will go out there and perform their assessment of the property and find additional items that we did not. This doesn't mean that the assessment was done incorrectly. We are just looking for two different things. So as a property management company, we perform 3 major assessments on the property. One being the move-in assessment. This assessment is done prior to a tenant moving into the property. Usually it's done 24 to 48 hours prior to their moving. In this assessment, we take pictures of the interior and the exterior of the property to document the property as it is given to the tenant. We would take pictures of every square inch of the property to include inside the cabinets, behind appliances, inside closets, all of that, just so that we can document the property correctly. This assessment can include anywhere from 200 to 400 pictures that we hold on file, and these pictures will be used at the end of the lease to itemize a security deposit. 6 months into the lease, we will perform another assessment on the property. This one obviously will have the tenant living in the property, and this assessment is used to document how they are taking care of the property and to see if there's any maintenance issues that we need to address or preventative maintenance. Being that the tenant is living in the property, we will not be taking as many pictures as we did during the move-in assessment. We do want to respect the tenant's privacy with all their personal items. Even though the lease does state that a landlord or its representatives can go in at any time and take pictures to document the condition of the property. Now, there is a charge for this assessment, and this is charged to the owner of the property. The final assessment that we do is the move-out assessment. This move-out assessment is conducted by our general contractor. The general contractor will also go out and take interior and exterior pictures of the property to include items that need to be fixed. This assessment is very important because this is the one that we use with the move-in assessment to itemize the security deposit at the end of the lease. The general contractor will also take anywhere from 200 to 400 photos of the property to include a punch list of items that may need to be repaired on the property. This punch list is used by the property manager to separate items that may be a tenant charge that is going to be deducted out of the security deposit, or it's just normal wear and tear and maybe something that's charged to the owner. These pictures and the punch list will be sent to the owner so that they can see how the property was left by the tenant and to see any of the items that need to be fixed. There is also a charge for this assessment as well, but this charge is charged to the tenant per the lease agreement. Now, these are the 3 major assessments that we perform on the property. Now, we do perform drive-by assessments of the properties whenever we are in the area. Per the lease agreement, we can perform additional assessments on the property as long as the property owner wishes us to do so. We do try to tell the owner not to perform so many assessments in order to bother the tenants or disrupt their right to quiet enjoyment. At this present time, we are looking at maybe moving the 6-month assessment to probably 90 days out from the lease termination date. This way we can perform an assessment to evaluate how the tenant is keeping up with the property so that the owner can actually decide if they want to do a lease extension or not. This is still in the discussion phase, but if you have any thoughts on this, you can contact your property manager and let them know. One of the most difficult parts of this assessment is actually scheduling with the tenant. We do like to have the tenant in the property when we're actually doing the assessment, but the tenant does not need to be there. We can go into the property and perform the assessment without the tenant being at home. So this is a quick overview of the property assessments that we conduct. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please contact your property manager. Once again, probably the best way of getting a hold of them first would be through email so that they can contact you back. But I hope you have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.